Okay, so video about inspecting used vehicles before purchase, because someone brought up a question. A client actually, he is not around Abuja anymore, and he has one vehicle he saw. He wanted to check. After watching my video on the 407 V6, that the engine was damaged but repackaged and sold. So to client, another client as well. So see, the thing is this: a few things I want to point out. It's not everything you'll be able to see or find out while you are inspecting vehicles. Engine, transmission. At least let's focus on these two: engine and transmission. That's what I'm going to debate more, explain more on this. For example, overheating. That's because you did a 2-kilometer drive and everything is working well. Doesn't mean the engine doesn't have overheating issue. Most likely the head gasket is bad, thermostat is bad, there is air in the system, water pump is bad. Any of these things, they will not show up those 2-3 kilometers or 5 minutes drive during the test drive. It will not show up. Even if you scan the car, it will not show up. It doesn't matter how good your eyes are, you won't be able to see these things, because the only time these things will show themselves up as faulty is when you drive the vehicle or start the vehicle, leave it to run for more than 30 minutes, close to 1 hour. Then it has even sometimes there are some overheating issues that won't happen until you drive the vehicle. Even if you leave the car for run for 1 hour, 2 hours, it won't overheat until you put the car into motion. Like radiator, sometimes you need to drive the car, or head gasket, you need to add pressure on the system for it to show itself up. So in that case, you won't really know truly the true condition of the engine during your test drive or during the inspection. Likewise, automatic transmission. Some of the issues that come up during automatic when transmission is bad, the symptom might not really show when you are doing the test drive or doing the inspection. You might scan the, see, there are some automatic transmission issues that will not show on scan too. Doesn't matter how good your or how expensive your diagnostic tool is or professional it is, it will not come up at all. So in that case, how would you now find out? You need to drive the car sometimes about 30 minutes or more than 30 minutes. Engine needs to warm up, the coolant temperature needs to heat up very high to be able to tell you, okay, this transmission is good enough. But remember, during the inspection, you have only few minutes, sometimes less than 5 minutes. They won't allow you to drive up to 5 kilometers. I don't know who will, unless the person knows you. So in that case, you are the mercy of, it's not necessarily mercy, it's just a risk you have to take. Let's tell people that say, I want automatic transmission. Okay, fine. But understand that if I'm going, don't expect that I'll be able to detect a fault, because it is very difficult. Unless maybe the transmission is obviously very bad. In that case, yeah, even when the temperature is bad, no, temperature is low, yeah, it will show the symptoms. So in that case, you have to buy it on faith that it won't give problem after purchase. Now, the one that can be very tricky is when engine is losing oil pressure. That one can be hard sometimes. If the oil temperature sensor is bad, yeah, even when the engine is cold, yeah, you're getting that oil, no oil pressure warning. Let's assume the oil pressure sensor is leaking. Now, I'm talking about engine oil pressure. Let's assume it's leaking oil. Yeah, even when the engine is cold, it will show you that one. So during the inspection, you can easily detect that. You might scan it, it will not show. Remember, it's a leakage, so it might not really point out, or it could show. But there's some fault that if your engine is losing oil pressure, 5-kilometer drive will not be able to show it most times. You may have to drive the car for a long time, especially if the engine cruise system has been bypassed. Meaning that in that 5 kilometers, let's assume they connected the fan to run constantly with the engine running or ignition on, or the coolant thermostat is removed, all that. What will happen is, as long as the engine oil temperature is low, the warning will not come on, even if you drive it for 10 kilometers or 10 minutes. There are also cases where they will go and cut off, because of that warning, depending on the Abuja vehicle system, they will cut off the connector to the oil pressure sensor. And once you cut it off, you stop getting that oil pressure warning. So even if truly the engine is already weak or has an oil pressure issue, you will not get that one. Whether you drive it for 1 hour, 3 hours, you won't get that one. Some Abuja vehicle system, if you cut off the connector, it start giving you that one. Some, it will not. The only thing that will happen is if you scan the car, in some cases, it will tell you the oil pressure connector, oil pressure sensor, there's a communication issue. But not all. So in that case, you won't really know until, depending on the engine model, you will not have to go under the vehicle, which you can't do when you are doing inspection. To go and jack the car to go under to see if you can see the oil pressure sensor. There are some engine model you can easily see the oil pressure sensor to know if it's connected from the engine bay. You can look down and see the position of the oil beds. Not all. Some you have to go under the vehicle, like the VCs and the rest. So in that case, you have to, it's whatever you see, you take. Because oil pressure sensor, the oil pressure issue, see, it could be anything. It could be that the engine will have to be rebuilt or replaced. It could be as minor as oil pressure sensor. It could be as minor as bad oil filter, or wrong oil, or bad oil, or oil pump failure, or that your crankshaft have worn, or your crankshaft bearing has worn, or your camshaft. You know, so many things. Because it depends on the extent of the damage. Sometimes rebuild might not even be a better option. That's unless you have the resources. Because in that case, if there's damage your crankshaft, your bearings, your engine block, and so many things, it's going to cost you sometimes more than double amount to buy another engine to rebuild that engine. Depends, like I said, sometimes. So it might make sense to just change the engine. If you're on a budget, if you don't have that much money. But if you have the money, well, go ahead and do the rebuild. What I mean is, make sure you buy the high quality parts so that it will last longer than a used engine, rather than doing one that's not even serve more than 50,000 kilometers before the issue comes up again. So in that case, I mean, you won't really know until you have the vehicle, use it, or go on and start to dismantle a lot of things, to start ruling out this component one after the other until other things as well that can actually you may not be able to detect during the inspection. Oil pump. I know some will say, oh, but it's supposed to show immediately. Not really. It's not a must that you get that oil pump warning issue. Depending on what is bad on the engine model that is causing that oil pump. That what I mean oil pump, I mean your engine has started to short oil rapidly. For example, petrol engines with turbocharged engines that are turbocharged engines, I meant. Those ones, the turbocharger can fail in various ways and cause oil burning. Depending on how bad, how it fails, sometimes it will start sipping oil from, what's it called? It will start passing oil directly from the wastegate into the catalytic converter. Into the exhaust. So in that case, it's not going to show. Why is everybody going on? Since hold on guys, since this is not working or not. Oh, okay. So they said it's not working. Traffic light. Okay. So I've forgotten what I was trying to say. I need to yeah, the oil pump turbocharger. So there are cases where the oil will be passing through the waste gate into the turbocharger. My oil warning is already down. In fact, my fuel has started to show sign of oil wear. So let me switch out the car. After this video, I need to get right back market definitely and add up. Okay. So if that is happening, don't expect to see blue smoke from the exhaust. Don't bother. The engine will need to run for probably like more than 10 minutes. Exhaust will need to be hot before it starts to burn those oil. Otherwise, the oil will just be splashing into the exhaust manifold, into the exhaust pipe or catalytic converter. You will not see that smoke. You start the vehicle driving for like 5 minutes or so. By the time, maybe between the 5, if you are not observant, by the time you come back, maybe 5 kilometer drive, yeah, you start seeing the smoke. But at that point, for example, some people will say no, don't drive the car, or only drive it, for example, within this street. You drive it or come back less than 1 kilometer, that's all that will allow you to do the test drive. So in that case, trust me, you will not see that smoke. Because exhaust has not become hot enough to start burning the oil. It will only see the smoke if the oil is getting into the combustion chamber. It's passing through the throttle body, which turbocharger can also cause. It will leak, enter to intercooler. From intercooler, it goes to throttle body. For throttle body, enters intake manifold. From there to the valve, it passes through the valve, enter into what is it called? Into the engine. The valve stems that into the combustion chamber and they burn. Valve stem cells as well can also cause it, but you won't necessarily see the smoke immediately. Like I said, all these things, yeah, okay, if the valve stem cells are weak, yeah, you might start seeing smoke because remember, when the combustion is going on, it's going to burn any liquid there inside combustion chamber, so you see the smoke. I'm always saying there are cases where it will not show the smoke, like if it's your turbocharger, until the car has run for quite a long time, or at least for some minutes that you might not be giving up to that length drive to show, unless the person will allow you to say, okay, leave the car to run for 30 minutes at idle stationary, but still they will tell you no fuel. Unless you agree, you buy fuel, pour fuel, leave the engine to run for more than 30 minutes and then see whether it will smoke. There are other things too. For example, try to remember something. There are some things that you won't be able to dictate when it comes to the engine. Even the brake. The brake calipers might be sticking and you won't be able to tell. Even with the 1 kilometer drive, 5 kilometer drive is not enough. If the brake flex pipe is weak, it doesn't pass through fluid freely anymore. The most time they only show is the failure or the symptoms when the braking system becomes very hot. Then it will reduce the flow. When they are cold, it will release the calipers. It will flow a little. So in that case, might not be enough. So there are some things you might not really be able to dictate. That's why, sometimes I'll be like, if you have the money, buy the new car, or foreign imported, the ones that were well maintained or clean. In such cases, some of these issues, they will have problems, notwithstanding, but our maintenance culture is completely different considering over there. Some of them still abuse their cars, but these issues won't be as high. They won't have all these accumulated issues as much as Nigerians. Most times, but some cases you will still find some messed up foreign used vehicles. So, I mean, whichever way you look at it, it's a gamble. What I will never do is to discourage someone from buying a car because engine is bad. No, I won't do that. The only time I will say, okay, then let's not buy. I won't recommend this one, even though I won't. Not say I won't recommend, but it won't be on the list of priority. It won't be number one. It's a situation where just assume the car checks out, the body is intact, the interior intact, exterior body, interior body, the electric cars. The car looks fantastic. So many things are okay with the car, but the engine is weak, and I was able to detect that during the inspection. The transmission, okay, let's work with the engine first. The engine is weak. I was able to detect that. As much as things are very expensive now in Nigeria, I would say no. It's better than dealing with the one with messed up electric cars. Trust me. If your engine is the only issue the vehicle have, I will go gradually recommend you buy the car, or even buy it if I was the one expecting to buy the car for myself. I will tell you, go ahead. But the situation where there's another one, same model of car or another model of vehicle, the owner, the person I'm expecting the car for is interested in, and the car both checks out, but everything checks out, including the engine and everything. And so I'll be like, okay, you know what? At least in this case, you will spend less to get the car, usable compared to this one. So in that case, I'm not ruling out the other one with the engine problem. I'm going to tell you, see, this one doesn't have engine problem. Maybe you might consider that, depending on the specification of the car. The specification also matters. If the car has so many gadgets that the owner prefers, the one with the engine problem, while the other one without engine problem is just the basic, just the road trim vehicle, doesn't have a, why would I recommend that? Knowing that you are talking about wrong one. Over time, you'll be like, you didn't spend some money after the purchase of the vehicle, but then the car becomes too boring for you. You may not even want to use it for up to a year. While the one that has all those things, you might end up spending a little bit after purchase of the car to change the engine. But then the car becomes so fantastic with all those things that you wouldn't mind to keep the car for more than 5 years. You see where I'm coming from. So those are the things that I also look at, consider, and I recommend. There are cases where, I remember one 407 I bought for a client with automatic transmission. During the inspection, it was like around that, it wasn't up to 5 kilometer drive. There was no oil pressure issue warning. Drove the car, the power wasn't really that much, because I observed during the inspection that they changed the head gasket at some point and put those thick head gaskets, so it affected the engine power. They put a thicker head gasket, so affected the engine power. It was just making drone noise and the rest. So I was like, okay, you know what? Good enough as it is during the inspection. But then they bypassed the fan. They removed the thermostat, they bypassed the fan, put it direct, so it was running constantly at cold temperature, even those 5 kilometers or less drive that I did during the inspection. But as soon as I made the purchase of the car for the owners, we are now doing the repairs. So I now reverse the fan back to factory to run only when the temperature engine demands that the fan comes up. And then also put the thermostat. Boom! The oil pressure warning came up. It started. That was like days, not like a day or two. I'm talking about like 7 days or thereabout. By the time I now did that engine repair, or maybe before the 7th day after purchase. But like I said, it was shortly after I did, almost that same day that I did that. It was that day, not like almost that same day, that I reversed the fan wiring connection, that built connection to the fan, made it factory, put the thermostat. I think I was driving the car from the workshop to my house or something, or I took it for boom, the warning came up. Just as I was driving out of the workshop, and the engine has warmed up, started showing that oil pressure warning. So meaning it will only work. No, I think I've driven out of the workshop, drove it for a few kilometers. So in that case, the oil coolant temperature has now come up. Oil temperature has now also increased from the cold zone to probably 70 degrees Celsius or something. Unlike before, when it was almost maybe less than 20 degrees. I don't know, because the oil temperature couldn't come up during the test drive, because coolant temperature was also very cold. So that's an example how you won't be able to dictate that, until you start to fix some of these things. Then it starts showing up. So sometimes engine will need to be hot. Yeah, it need to be hot. Yeah, because I remember I drove the car much longer before that one came up. So those are the things why my advice, if you have the knowledge to be able to check the vehicle, the body, to be sure that the body is not messed up, that it's not a packaged body, a serial body of the car that is already, they use body filler to avoid such ones. Once they mess up the body, that basically half of the car is body filler, stay away from that vehicle. I'm telling you, I've had that experience. It's not something you want to experience. If you don't like it, go ahead. But if you know you cannot dictate it, even if you can't afford someone like me to inspect a car for you, go with a panel beater. Even if that's the only one you can afford, let them check the body to know there is no severe accident. Doesn't mean if there's a minor impact somewhere and they use body filler, fine. But if it's at the point that almost the entire body of the car has been panel beated in and out, everyone knows, stay away from such car. So check, confirm the body okay, interior okay as well. Interior can be fixed, but sometimes, man, it might not be. It won't be that easily fixed. You may have to start changing the seat, the door cards, and the dashboard, all those things. So you have to factor in all those things, and depending on how maybe they messed up the gadgets to the point they bypass a lot of things. Though in that case, we call it electrical issue anyway, no longer be. So interior, I won't really hold on to it like, oh, it can be fixed. It should be a big issue, a big concern. But at least it should make sense if the interior is good, so that it won't end up. Because interior can cost you more than 1 million naira to get it right. So people don't get it until you start. By the time you start changing all those things, use high quality leather this thing to change the seat cover, all those things, you end up spending quite a lot of money. So check the interior, then electrical. For a modern Peugeot car, electrical should be your main concern aside the body. Aside the body, electrical should be, in fact, the reason why I first put the body is, the car has to make sense first, physically. Otherwise, why waste time buying something you hate with passion that doesn't look attractive to you? So that's my point. The body first, then electrical. If the electrical is a mess, if you like, go and buy brand new engine. I'm not talking about Tokubo engine. Go and buy new engine that is still in the leather for when they produce it new and put in the car will never ever enjoy that car. No matter what you do, if the electrical is a mess, unless I would rather spend, let me put it a different way, I would rather spend 1 million naira to change engine than spend 2 million naira to change electricals. Or you could even reverse it. I would rather spend 2 million naira to change engine than spend 1 million naira to fix the electricals. The electrical will give you headache, nightmare. You keep changing this one, you keep burning this one, you keep doing this one. You go to market, you look for this one, they give you a wrong part, you put it, it didn't match, you go back, you get the wire, they bushel it, you have to look for another one, and there's the one that is not bushel, which might be very hard to get. So in other words, you see end up getting one that is less bushel. They've cut down so many cut and join. So you have to see the joint. Then later all those places they do the joint. Even though you attach them, later they will start giving problem unless you are willing to be able to start to solder. And as you are soldering, even those tape, after a while they will start to remove themselves and start to doing positive and negative, touching, bridging. I mean, see, if you can, look at what my 505 have dealt with me, like how many times because of engine wiring harness that I modified in the past, like how many times, until I now made the attempt this last time now to see, even though I still haven't finished the repair. The one I did was the one from the ECUs to the engine, but the one from the body of the wire to the engine wiring harnesses, I still have to figure out a way or buy other things that to solve later. I still need to start doing soldering. Stay away. Don't buy any Pojo car they messed up. Anybody telling you, just to change engine wire, just to change your ECU, your brain box, change this one. Again, I would rather personally buy engine 2 million naira if that is the problem than spend 1 million naira to fix the electrical. By the time you eventually get it right, if you have high blood pressure issue, if it's in your body, trust me, it will come up. Unlike the engine is weak. You can park the car or be managing it, you be burning oil, it will have power, fine. You know it's weak. You'll be saving all the money if you don't have. But the electrical is, you go and buy ECU and put. You thinking your problem is over. Only for you to drive out, before you get another, boom, the ECU is gone or something else has gone somewhere. You go back again, they tell you, there's one. You even know there's so many. See, it's not like one or two wrong connection. So many connections. Don't worry, correct this one. The other one is there. You don't know where it is. You put another ECU or do another, put radio, it will burn your radio. Stay away from messed up electrical Pojo car. That's where you need an expert to be able to check all those things. Even if there's abuses on the electrical, let it be minor that can easily be reversed compared to the one that will be a mess. That you can as well remove everything on the car and pull out the old tire wire on the vehicle or look for another tire wire on another vehicle to start to fix. Which could also come as a result of conversion. Convert from one petrol engine to another, or from diesel to petrol, or from manual to automatic cars. If those conversions are not properly done, because you are talking about electrical power, once you do all those kind of conversion from V6 to 4-cylinder, from 4-cylinder to V6, if the conversion, electrical power conversion is a mess, or from turbo engine to non-turbo engine, like they do in 508, 308, and so many 3008, and so many of these project cars. If you don't get the electrical right, and most times the only time they usually focus on just to make the engine to work, but then it may start affecting your ABS. If your car has what's it called, electronic parking brake system, most times it will affect it to stop working. Your ESP will stop working. Every warning will be popping up unless you have to find a way to deactivate all those things. So you start using your handbrake. So many things, your fan, most times they will have to, because the wiring connection from the inside the car to the engine bay will not match the engine ECU of another engine you mounted that was not original. So in other words, you have to now, you won't be able to control the fan. So you now have to connect the fan to run constantly. Then you have no option on that, unless you have to find a way to use external or aftermarket parts to now control the fan to come up at a certain temperature. Your AC might not work by factory here. You now have to bypass to create a different switch to run the AC compressor. See, that's what I'm saying. If you don't get the electrical, once they tell you they've converted a car from one engine to another, trust me, see, if you have a way, walk away from that car. Let it be people like us that will actually buy those cars and now spend our fortune to get the conversions right, the electrical part. Even if the car will have to spend like 1 year or 2 years going through some of those things to make sure we modify the wire. Most time I not get it factory, but we'll be able to modify the wire to allow some of those things to work to some extent, at least. Even if it's no longer, you can't get it 100% to work as factory. Those are the things you need to know. People don't know. All they know is the open engine body. It's EW10. Boom, I'm buying it. And then tomorrow, by the time you bring it to someone like me, I was like, come on, this car was originally a diesel engine. Oh, this car originally had the EP6 engine or VTI engine. This car already had a THP engine before. Oh, this car has a... I could go on and on and on. But what you are looking at there is something else, which I have no issue with. Remember, I do conversion too. I go one for one engine to another. So I will never say no to conversion. But then you need to be sure what you are getting into, that what you are buying makes sense, that they did it well. Even if there's something that is not working well, that is, let it be something insignificant to working of the car. Imagine driving a car, modern car without ABS. As in, no matter what you do, the ABS will not work. Trust me, don't buy that car. It's not like 544 where there's a way they did their braking system. These modern cars, the way they do that, and remember they have more weight. So if your ABS is not there, it's going to, as in, you press the brake without ABS, you won't be able to hold that car once you engage higher speed. The heavier weight will just keep pulling the car. No matter how the brake is, you try to mash it, pump it, keep pushing it ahead until you hit or smash on that thing you are trying to prevent from. So you need that ABS there on a modern Peugeot vehicle. With some of this conversion, most times, because it's a campus system, once it doesn't see this system you removed or something, it will deactivate the other ones from working. Until you start to see that one, then you start working again, because they are interwoven, they are interconnected. They work with one. This one work with this one. Even the fact of converting a car from automatic to manual transmission will also deactivate your ABS. Trust me. Except those of us that now have the understanding of this thing, which you have to study the electrical system first, now know how you'll be able to reconfigure or modify the electrical wiring system to allow the ABS to work with the manual transmission. So I'm just pointing out this is to understand, when you are inspecting cars, understand is something you I know some people do it get free, as in I won't say get free, I will not say maybe they are so lucky that they got one that without all those things, even though they went in blindly to buy the vehicle. So but that's apart. What I'm focusing on today is engine transmission. If it's automatic transmission, see, sometimes I don't even know, because I will tell you, see, you might buy it. If the transmission is bad, of course I'll recommend you could still buy the car and change. But then the thing about automatic transmission, use one is try and lock, period. I don't think you can do about it. You might put it today, it will work for that period of warranty. After warranty, it will start misbehaving. What do you want me to do? In that case, so automatic transmission, I mean, just hope that it works well at the point of purchase. But like I said, even if I were the one buying and the automatic transmission is not good, I'll still buy, and later change the transmission. What do you want me to? Because the one that worked right there, let's assume this one, you check it at the point of inspection, you showed it was very bad. Even that one that selected well, worked well during the inspection, because he didn't have enough time to, or they were not allowed to drive the car much longer to be able to start showing you symptoms to know if the transmission is good or not. You might end up buying the same messed up car at higher price, a messed up transmission at higher price. So you can as well buy the one that, if the transmission is bad, then of course the price will come down. Then you go and deal with the transmission. So it's still out there, you know. So the best thing, if you have money, buy a new car, period. But then if you're buying used car, there are risks to take. But just make sure they are ones that can easily be fixed. My mechanicals can easily be dealt with. The body, by mechanical, I'm talking about engine, transmission, clutches, suspension as well. Only that, yeah, they will cost money, but at least they are more direct. This is bad, this is bad. Mechanical, you can easily see it, it's obvious. Electrical, wow. Okay, so this way I'm going to end this. So hope it makes sense. So I'm not stopping you from going to buy your own car or do your own inspection. It will be cheaper if you have that knowledge, or find somebody that do it cheaper for you. I do that. I provide that service for people, but because of the way things are, you know, economically in Nigeria, mine is no longer as cheap as it used to be. Most likely going to increase the price by this evening or tomorrow. I didn't cause it. Hey, you people voted this mess, so let everybody deal with it. But you know, these are things you need to consider. So you're buying cars, you know, going blindly buy, it might work out well for you, but at least you know that if it doesn't work out well for you, hey, don't freak out on that. So okay, so till next video.